So welcome back everyone. It's been a while. It's been mailed back elsewhere. So today is the seedling transplanting day in my container garden at home. So this is me. These are the small seedlings I've managed to raise despite my busy schedule. So I'm just going to go ahead and see which ones I can transplant today. As you can see, it's quite sunny. I think it's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You can see all the plants I have. I have tomatoes, I have peppers, okras, I have melon. You can see the weather is, the sun is quite bright. It's about 3 in the afternoon, but this is the time I have. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it. That's why I'm doing it in the shade. So these are the kinds of bags that I like to use, but nowadays they are hard to come by. I'm just going to go ahead and fill up this one with the potting mix. I'm going to start with soil. So if you have been a member of soil and subscriber of this channel, you will have seen my previous videos. You know that chicken manure is a must for my potting mix. So this is a chicken manure. It has decayed quite a bit and is now dry. As you know, we live in the middle belt, so the weather is now very dry. That is why it is like this. So if you have, as I said before, if you have been a member of the channel, you know what my potting mix usually consists of. So you can tell me what this is. I always like to add it to my potting mix. If you know what it is, just comment in the comment section. So I'm going to go ahead and add it right in. And if you want a full video on how I make my potting mix, the video is on the channel. So I would have done this mixing on the floor, but as I said before, I am short on time, so I'll just go ahead and mix it. I will usually add a layer of soil, layer of chicken manure, and a layer of that. Actually it is sawdust, so that's how I keep on adding until I get the quantity or the volume that I want in my bag. So if you watch my potting mix video, you learn that the reason why I use sawdust is for aeration and to make the potting mix not to be too heavy and easily waterlogged. So that is why. And then the sawdust is wood to actually rot and become manure. It is organic matter. So everything is in the bag. I think I'm happy with the volume. So depending on the type of bag, this type of bag needs to be perforated. I'm just going to go ahead and perforate it with this fork. Why am I using a fork? I don't want the holes to be very big, number one. I live in a very dry area in my country. It could be very dry and I don't want too much leaching of the nutrients or too much draining of water. So that's why I'm going to use the fork so that the holes will be as small as possible. So I'm just going to go ahead and begin transplanting. I'm starting with the tomatoes, as you can see. So when transplanting, you want to make sure that you pop it out, or you pop them out with the soil intact. So you can see the root system of these tomatoes are quite impressive, you can see. So I'm hoping they'll do well once I transplant. So when you pop it out, then you can see I planted many seeds in this small cup. So I'm going to go ahead and separate them and begin to transplant. So you do it gently, making sure each plant has enough root system to be able to survive after transplant. So these are my plants. They have been transplanted. As you can see, I'm doing 4 in this bag. This is because for tomato plants, all the action basically is above ground. So I'm going to stake them. So everyone has his own stake. So there will be no danger of overcrowding. So this is what I'm going to use as my mulch. If you have been following the channel, you remember that I have planted a lot of groundnuts at my allotment. So I harvested them, shelled them. So these are the shells. As you know, on a farm or an allotment, nothing goes to waste. So I'm now going to use the shells as my mulch. Eventually they will rot and become organic matter. So that is the beauty of growing your own food or farming. I'll just use it as my mulch because, as I told you before, the weather is quite dry, so that the loss of water is minimal. So I'll make sure I cover the whole surface to conserve water. So, and of course, the last thing is to water down. Water down. Some people transplant and they don't water down immediately. You want to water down immediately. Why do you do that? So that you give your seedlings a head start. That is where you water down so that they do not lose plenty of their nutrients. So next up, I'm going to go ahead and transplant other things. So this is my okra plants. So I'm just going to go ahead and begin. This tiny one, I'm just going to go ahead and pop it in the soil to see what will happen. I hope it survives. So mulching, and this is basically my day at my container garden. So I'm going to water it down, then I'll leave it and I'll keep you guys posted on their progress and how they are doing. So if you want to know all about that or see if it will ginger you to start your own container garden, please like the video and subscribe to the channel.